and welcome to the Lou Review podcast. I'm your host, Rosa Hart, and today I get to interview the mayor, Rick Tonini of St. Matthews. Thank you for joining me today.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so we're going to talk today about a city within a city. So Louisville is made up of a bunch of little cities. The metro area is.
Right.
And have you been in Louisville area your whole life?
Yes, I have. Grew up, started down in Shelby Park area, and we moved out to St. Matthews when I was 5.
And you still live there now?
Not in that same house, but very
Okay.
close to that same house.
Down the road?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right in that neighborhood, yeah.
And have you stayed in St. Matthews your whole life too after that?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Except when I was in Lexington going to school.
To school for college. Okay. So you branched out a little bit. Yeah. My whole family's from Tennessee, and I'm the first one to leave. So when I go back, that's kind of how it is, very ingrained in the local area. So it'll be nice to get to talk to you today.
What city are you from?
Clarksville,
Clarksville.
Fort
Okay.
Campbell area.
Fort Campbell, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk today because St. Matthews itself is about to have a big celebration. And it'll be the 75th anniversary of being a city. So
It's called being incorporated as a city.
St. Matthews, there's so many amazing businesses now, restaurants that I love to go to all the time. What was it like when you were growing up in St. Matthews?
Well, of course, when I started, I was riding my bike around, and it wasn't too much different than it is now, really, except it's obviously grown a lot. But I mean, you still had the business district right there, Breckenridge Lane and Shelbyville Road, Frankfort Avenue, where the Vogue used to be. It's all still there, and it's different uses now, but it's remained pretty steady in terms of the buildings.
Yeah.
The businesses have changed, but
Right. Like, I haven't been here that long. I moved to Louisville in 2010. But like St. Matthews Station has a lot of different businesses that kind of rotate in and out of it. The Raven is now Limoni Sal, and I love the Raven and I love Limoni Sal, but it definitely changes what it looks like on the inside. But you've got kind of these more older, more established buildings.
St. Matthews Station actually used to be a car dealership. Yeah. And
where'd they put the cars?
Well, Shelbyville Road wasn't as busy, kind of like pulled in type parking, and yeah, it's very different use, but that was the Elines own that property, and they still do, the Eline family. And Plains Bakery is still there, but actually Plains Bakery and the old Eline car company, they're really not in St. Matthews.
Well, they're not? What does that count as?
You can win some money betting people that Plains Bakery is not in St. Matthews.
Oh, man.
When right after the war, the soldiers came home and wanted housing. And so it was very limited housing at that time. Outside the Waterson, this isn't outside the Waterson, but basically outside the Waterson, they started developing a bunch of little farms and building houses and subdivisions. And that was all going on in 1950 when we incorporated as a city. But people wonder why there's so many cities in this county.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Is because when developed this farm into a subdivision, the city of Louisville at that time was not interested in extending city services out further than they were. And Jefferson County never did provide city services. So they had to figure out how they were going to provide services, trash, cutting the grass, paving the streets, all the things that cities do. So they, instead of creating a neighborhood association, they went to Frankfort, incorporated as a city, and then that allowed them to charge property tax. The reason St. Matthews started was because the city of Louisville came into what's now people call St. Matthews, and they annexed properties that were either commercially zoned or residential properties that were already hooked to sewers. So they kind of cherry picked what they wanted, and they didn't annex the streets. And the businesses got very angry because they kind of cherry picked it and left everything else for somebody else to take care of. So that's when they went to Frankfort and incorporated as St. Matthew's. So that was 1950. Today is 2025, 75 years from that date. So that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And there's going to be a great big celebration in honor of the 75 years. And it's a major milestone. Now, you talked about a lot of transformations that you've seen just in your lifetime, let alone it being farmland in 1950. Now, what do you think is the biggest transformation that St. Matthew's has had?
Well, we've just grown. I mean, when 1950, the mall wasn't there, Oxmoor wasn't there.
Neither.
Yeah, I mean, even the other side of the street from where Plains Bakery, a lot of businesses weren't there, and so that's why can't understand the dividing line between the Urban Services District and St. Matthews, because it was literally chopped up as it was annexed. And so when we became a city, we got everything that wasn't annexed from. St. Matthews wasn't even a name.
When did it get the name?
Well, when we went to Frankfurt and incorporated, the St. Matthew's Episcopal Church was there, and so they called it St. Matthew's.
Because that was kind of the landmark that everyone would have recognized as a kind of anchoring.
And people called it St. Matthew's. And St. Matthew's has been a community for 200 years.
Would they call it like a parish in that case, or is that more of a Catholic term?
It's not Catholic, it's Episcopal.
Right, but I mean the term parish, calling that area like St. Matthew's Parish.
No,
area? No,
they
don't use that terminology.
No, it's a city.
Well, no, I mean before it was a city.
It was just the St. Matthew's area.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because like if you go to Louisiana, they talk.
Louisiana definitely uses parishes instead of counties.
Right, exactly. So sometimes it kind of bleeds over from church into state, sometimes, doesn't it? So then, now tell us some more about the celebration. I hear there's going to be yoga in the park, and there's going to be a drone show. And so that sounds like a broad variety of things, and it's for the whole family, right?
Oh, it's always a good time to plan a party.
Yes, agreed. Any time of year.
We have this date that we decided we're going to celebrate our 75th. It's a good reason to have a party. We wanted to have a full family, no admittance. It's free for people to get in, and things for all ages. We're going to have constant music throughout the day. We're going to have some bands that people may not know the bands, but they know the music those bands plays. And there's some pretty big name bands that are coming in and going to have good music. Pardon my cough.
Yeah.
We got things for the kids. We got jumpy things. We got rides in a little toy train. And
I love those.
oh yeah, we got all kinds of little things. It's called a toddler train, bouncies for kids of all ages, balloon animals, face painting, climbing wall, and a mobile zip line.
Oh my goodness! My husband's going to want to get on that. Tell me that's got a weight limit.
I don't have any idea. But we're going to have that. We're going to have things, live music with One Irish Rover, the Sherry Rouse Band, the Rigby's, and that's celebrating the Beatles through the years. The Heart of Rock and Roll is America's Huey Lewis tribute. And let's see, the Sherry Rouse Band is a tribute to Motown. And then One Irish Rover celebrates 6 decades of Van Morrison. Wow. So those are the bands you don't recognize, but what they play is very recognizable.
Yeah, and that'll add to the family feel, I'm sure, having the familiarity. So, not being from here, it does seem like St. Matthew's has a really strong sense of community. So how do you feel like this event really reflects the values and spirit of the people who live there?
Well, I'm very proud of St. Matthew's because I think it's a great place to live. And you mentioned the drones. Well, the drone is going to be the finale.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to have drones like they do. It's not to the same degree, but at Thunder over Louisville, they have a drone show. So we're going to have.
And we didn't get to do that.
Nope, but we are at ours.
So
the inclement weather.
And so if people were really torn up about missing that at Thunder, then they'll have a second chance, kind of.
We're going to have performers in the park. We're going to have.
What kind of performance? The music?
Oh, just people walking around doing performing
like magics or juggles and
doing
things like
all
that.
kinds of things. We're going to have a beer garden. Those are not for the children.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the adults. And they're going to have food trucks. And of course, you can go down to our play area and pavilion right there at the play area. And we got a great place for kids. And so we really think we're going to have an event that's going to be for all ages. And if you just want to go over there and just listen to music, I recommend you bring a blanket or a folding chair, and you can drink a beer and listen to music or a soft drink or whatever your choice is. So, but it's going to be our 75th anniversary of being made a city, and it's going to be on June the 7th from 12 noon until 10 p.m. It's in Brown Park, and for those who don't know where Brown Park is, it's where Browns Lane and Kresge Way come together right at the back of Baptist Hospital.
Okay, yeah.
And it's the park is right behind the hospital. The parking is going to be actually across the street at the doctor's office buildings.
Okay, yeah, the like outpatient offices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just doctors, and they have a nice parking lot there, and we have a very small parking lot at the park.
Yeah.
So this parking lot will allow all of our party goers to come in and have a nice, safe parking. And we'll have the police there to help you get across Browns Lane.
Yes, that'll be
So
important.
hopefully everybody gets there safe. And
Yeah, but Browns Park is a really great place to walk around.
it's
I think there's always geese there, right?
always
Yeah.
we have a bridge, and people like to feed the ducks and the geese there. We like to feed the geese the appropriate food, so we have a dispenser there to do duck food. A lot of people used to bring loaves of bread, and it's really bad for the ducks and the geese, but we try, and it's going to be fun, and hopefully everybody will come and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And say, you're going to have it next year?
Right.
Well,
No, because it won't be the
it's not.
75th
It's not.
anniversary. What are your hopes or goals leading, like going from this in the future, even if you can't have a big shebang like this every year?
Well, we already have several events in the park. We have right before Christmas time, we have Light Up St. Matthews, and that's also in Brown Park.
That's
We also
beautiful.
we also have Halloween in Brown Park, and that's a very, very neat event. We have paths that go through all through this. This is kind of a wooded area. It runs all the way over to the I-60 road, and we have all different spots where local businesses come and give kids candy, and those kids go around with their costumes on and bags and collect the candy. And
Well, I didn't even know you were doing that. We missed out on that. We'll have to try that out
it's
this
been
year.
very, very big every year. I mean, kids come from all over
Yeah.
Jefferson County, really.
And you don't have to pay to get in like you do at like
No,
the zoo.
there's no entrance fee. It's basically put on the chamber. It's St. Matthew's event, but the Chamber of St. Matthew's puts it on.
Yeah.
And most of the locations where they give out the candy are the members of the Chamber of Commerce.
You have a very active Chamber of Commerce in St. Matthews, don't you?
Yes.
Because I hear people from all over like to go there because it's great for networking, right?
They do a great job.
Yeah. Supporting each other, collaboration over competition sometimes.
Yeah, sure. I hope there's no competition.
It makes the city better to have lots of options, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So, how long have you been the mayor?
Over 10 years.
Okay. You must like it, huh?
Yeah, I do.
They haven't scared you off, so that's good.
No, you can't scare me off. I'm too
Okay.
dumb to be scared of.
Well, I know you like to listen to like the fire alerts and things like that. Did you work for the fire department or anything before?
Well, I was a firefighter for a while, and now I'm chairman of the board of trustees for the fire district. So we basically, the chief runs the department, but we oversee what the chief does and the cost and all that stuff. So we're the board of trustees, and I've been doing that a long time too.
Yeah. How long were you a firefighter before? Were you just volunteering or
I was strictly a volunteer.
Okay, so you had another full-time job.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked for Tonini Church Supply Company for
Oh,
50 years.
did you know those people?
Did, yes.
That's your family business,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did you start that?
No, my great grandfather came from St. Gallen, Switzerland,
Oh, wow.
and he started it, and it's been a family business ever since.
Okay. Your grandfather started it.
Great grandfather.
Your great grandfather started it. Gosh. So it's been there a long time. Was it there before Louisville was a city? I don't know how.
No,
Louisville
Louisville was a city, but
Okay.
he actually moved to southern Indiana and then immigrated over to Louisville. And we were in downtown Louisville for 100 years or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're out in St. Matthews at
Yeah.
Springs Station.
Well, it sounds like St. Matthews is a great place to be from, and also a very exciting place to go on June 7th.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for telling us what you love about St. Matthews and how there's so much to be proud of there. And if you are available on June 7th for all of our listeners, make sure you swing by no matter what age you are, no matter what, they're going to have some kind of activities for you to do. I know my kids would love the bounce houses.
We have not only Brown Park, but we have other major parks also. Park is a park that we're completely redoing.
Oh.
We've been through phase one. We've installed basketball courts and what's the paddle?
Is it pickleball?
Pickleball
Yeah.
courts. And we're working on the other end now. We're going to have a tremendous playground area and
Yeah.
a picnic area and sports fields.
Do they have dog parks over there?
We don't have a dog park.
That's okay. But we can walk our dog on the
You
leash.
can
right?
walk
So,
your dog
yeah.
all day long as long as you clean it up.
Right.
And
keep
we
them shut.
have
Yeah.
Community Center Park, which has the Audubon, which is a tremendous venue to rent and to have wedding receptions, family reunions, and all kinds of things. We've just completely remodeled the inside. It's really terrific. We got baseball fields over in Community Center Park also. We have the two natural parks, which are Brown Park and Drought Park, which are really terrific park. If you just want to go walk on wooded paths and see animals in nature, they're really great.
That is really nice. Sometimes you can be in these parks full of people and it can get a little overstimulating. I love trees. I absolutely love wooded paths.
Yeah, well, I suggest you take a look at Brown Park sometime. Go over there, take a bag lunch and sit at a bench and eat your lunch and then go for a walk to walk off your lunch and you can go down. I mean, it's quite an extensive path, concrete paths. We got some old cemeteries there. We have, from the people that owned the property before we got it. It's really neat. And the drought park is kind of a swampy park, and there's all kinds of wildlife. And it also is very passive.
And where is that?
It's across from, it's on Bowling Boulevard, across from the auto dealerships there, right behind the mall.
All right.
And it's terrific. And
I'm really curious about that one. I'm going to have to investigate.
We got bridges, and you cross the creek, and the creek is very active.
Nice.
And so we're getting ready to redo that creek and stabilize all the creek banks, and we're trying to keep everything really nice and good, so people love coming to our city for our parks.
It's working. It's working. They just keep coming, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mayor Rick Tonini, thank you so much for visiting with me today and sharing all this. And you can see the details of this in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode of the Lou Review podcast, for all our listeners, give us a like wherever you're listening or watching on YouTube. And I will see you in the next episode.